weekend here at Muscle in the Morning, and I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, August 24th, 2018. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I've never been a huge fan of craps when I'm in the casino, but the few times that I've rolled the dice and came up lucky sevens, I have to say it was pretty damn cool. But when you've been rolling sevens for 7 straight years like Heath has, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that in his case, Lady Luck is telling you that it's time to go all in. Less than a month away now from trying to become the 3rd male athlete in the history to have 8 Olympia titles to his name, King Phil seems like he's ready to push the chips into the center. Unless someone out there knows something that I don't, which is pretty unlikely, Phil is definitely locked into championship mode right now. And unless something crazy happens, I don't see any way he doesn't go out there and cement his place in history come September. Back in the 90s, they used to say that Michael Jordan would take any little thing that somebody said or did to him out there on the court and use it as motivation to punish the entire league, night in and night out. And given some of the chatter that we heard heading into his prep, can you blame Jeremy Buendia for making this one personal? The baddest man ever to set foot in men's physique is still training with a giant chip on his shoulder after some noise earlier in the season after he had surgery to repair a torn pec. And now that the greatest to ever do it has a whole list of targets circled on his list, I'm not so secretly hoping we get one of those vintage 1996 Jordan over Byron Russell sort of moments that goes down in history as the defining moment of this guy's legacy. So I was riding in the car this week listening to comedian Joey Diaz talk about people with a crazy work ethic and what he calls immigrant mentality. And for one reason or another, my mind immediately went to Breon Ansley. The reigning and defending Olympia and Arnold Classic champ has made a living over these last 2 seasons by being the hardest working man in the business. And now that he's only a few weeks away from giving the classic physique world another look at what that immigrant mentality is all about, I think what he did at the Arnold this year really solidified his place at the top of the class. And unless somebody out there knows what it takes to outwork him, right now I have a hard time seeing anyone knocking him off his pedestal. You know the crazy thing about superhero movies that no one ever talks about? Well, in every single one of these movies, it always takes an arch nemesis to make the hero really wake up and reach their full potential. And when I look at this year's Bikini Olympia lineup, I think I see a major clash of the Titans on the horizon. After 2 straight heroic performances at the Olympia and Arnold Classic, the reigning hero of the division seems like she's on a collision course with her toughest test yet in former 3-time champ Ashley Kaltwasser. And with the fate of the division now literally hanging in the balance, I guess we're all about to find out what the consequences are when you start tugging on a superwoman's cape. If you've ever got sucked into watching one of those World Series of Poker marathons that come on at 2 a.m., then I know you've probably just sat there staring at the screen hoping a royal flush somehow comes down the river so everyone at the table can just lose their mind. And when you're the bodybuilding equivalent of a royal flush in the women's physique game, and you're only now just entering your prime like Shanique Grant, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why you've got everyone in the division buzzing. With the home stretch finally in sight, now it looks like we'll finally get a chance to see one of the women's physique's brightest stars take the stage at the biggest event on the planet. And if she comes out and lays down the equivalent of a royal flush, I can promise you folks, it'll go crazy out there in Vegas. That does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.